when you get upset about
Mm.
things or
Mm.
what the other person does, right?
Mm.
My coach taught me, thank you. A lot of things he taught me. Okay, he said that once your happiness comes from within rather than without,
Mm.
right? And that's a big one, because when your happiness is coming from within, then everything that you do, you know how to find a solution, right? And you learn to focus on the things you can control, the controllables, and things that you can't control, like the weather and traffic. Then it's like it's okay. You got learn
Yeah.
to let that go.
Yeah.
And same thing for a relationship, right? So if you're dependent on that person to make you happy, what ends up happening is happiness now becomes this moving target.
Right.
And then when everything's great, right? You're having a great time, you're laughing, right? But then what happens when things kind of go south a little bit? Well, then your happiness is dependent on them. And when that happens and you're not happy, well, guess what's going to happen? The relationship's no longer going to survive. What ends up happening is most people point the blame on other people rather than themselves, when they should have at least become a little bit more aware that happiness was a moving target
Yeah.
for them. Yeah.
Where do you host these coaching sessions?
I do my coaching sessions, so everything's being set up. I think I've showed you, right?
Yeah.
My place.
You got your little office.
It's in the process.
Yeah.
It's building. Had a lot of great help. So you helped me a lot. So thank you very much. It's a vision that I've always wanted, and so
Nice.
and that's so powerful. Let's talk about vision, can we? Can we talk about vision?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Vision,
you. Because what's up? It's like me doing my first music video, right? That cover that I did. I had a vision. I remember I was standing in Chinatown under this little, where all the fruits are laid out. And I was just looking at this, and it barely loaded on my cheap little Android phone. And I was like, yeah. And I just fell in love. I was like, wow, you could do that. And then I did it. And then the vision of having this place set up the way exactly how I want it. And, you can make minor adjustments, but that vision, I never let that vision go. And to me, that is a major success, because I was like, wow, as long as I believe in it and that's what I want to go for, like nothing stops you, nothing gets in your way. So it's kind of like, yeah, you might get that little obstacle, but then eventually you find an obstacle, you find a way around it no matter what. Right? And that's the power of a vision. I believe that a lot of people have an idea of what they want to do. But, and here's the biggest but, right? Which is most people do not do the things that they want to do because of the story that they consistently tell themselves, which is, I'm not good enough, right? I need to make more money, right? You have to really look behind you, right? Like your shadows. And a little example of what I gave was, imagine you always worked right in front of you, right? Right in front of you. And then everything that happens to you, you kind of just ignore. You just crumble this piece of paper, like throw it behind. And you never get to see what's behind you. After 20, 30 years later, you turn back, you're like, oh my God, there's a lot of pieces of paper. And those pieces of paper are like a metaphor of all the things you've neglected. Maybe it was your feelings. Maybe someone has been telling you haven't been good enough and you started believing in it, right? Like, why haven't you faced those fears? It's easier to just look forward because there's less things. I don't have to worry about it, right? But yeah,
it's easier to avoid and just table something that is difficult because I don't have to deal with it. And if I don't think about it, yeah.
But it's still there. It's still there.
Yeah, it doesn't really go away. A lot of things does not go away.
We humans, we do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure.
Temporary avoid of pain, but long term
it comes back. It keeps knocking back at your door, and then you're like, no, I'm not here. yeah, okay, we'll be back.
And one night it was like, if you drink a bunch and then you talk to your friends, start crying, right, all came out.
Sober, what was it? Drunk mind speaks to sober heart. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.